Glauben Sie, dass Sie heute noch quasi geprägt davon sind, dass Sie nicht davon beeinflusst sind, noch heute?
Von was beeinflusst?
Von Ihrer Zeit damals in Auschwitz?
Ja, sicher ist da was zurückgeblieben. Erstmal bin ich
She
ziemlich
tells me
hart
that
in
she
den
just cannot
Mundwinkeln
approach people
und
today because of the many rejections
etwas, was
she
ich sehr
experienced.
schade finde, ist, dass ich nicht auf Menschen
If
zugehen
someone
kann.
approaches her, she's
Wenn
fine
jemand
with
auf
it and
mich zukommt,
open,
bin ich
but she
offen,
just
aber
cannot do it herself.
ich bringe es nicht fertig, eben durch die viele Abweisung, die
This
ich
fear of
erlebt habe.
non-acceptance,
Und
of rejection,
diese
it's still
Angst
set
vor
deep
Abweisung,
inside
vor
her.
Zurückweisung, die ist immer noch tief drin.
Her name is Anna de Vries, and she's still affected by her past today.
Als wir dort ankamen, das war kein Judentransport, das war ein
In this moment, Anna begins to tell me the story of her survival.
Menschen. Wir sind von
There were
Frankfurt,
85 people on the
Saarbrücken aus,
transport. She says it wasn't a
Frankfurt, Kassel,
transport for Jews
Leipzig und so
only, it was a
weiter.
transport for
Dann
prisoners.
wurden immer die
They stopped several times on the way to
Häftlinge
pick up people from other camps.
bis denn 85 zusammen waren, die nach Auschwitz
They were on the
wollten.
way to the extermination camp of Auschwitz.
Und wir kamen dann in eine Sauna.
They were forced into a sauna on arrival. Anna says that's where they had been flossed and shaved and everything necessary to live there.
Zu existieren.
Anna corrects herself. It wasn't living, it was existing. In the sauna, they were also brutally tattooed with the registry number. She asked me whether I had ever seen one of these tattoos before.
Spielte gar keine Rolle.
I had not.
Ja, da waren wir 4 Wochen, da lagen wir draußen in der glühenden Hitze, 43 war sehr
Anna
heiß.
says that they've been there for 4 weeks. They lied outside in the blistering heat. It was very hot in 1943, she says.
War es nicht zugänglich. Also wir konnten nicht an Wasser.
And it was harassment of the worst kind in Auschwitz. They didn't get any water. It was luxury out of reach.
In Auschwitz musste immer alles schnell gehen. Konnten wir gerade die Hände
She says that they were
umschließen,
only
Wasser
given a
halten.
few seconds
Vielleicht
to hold
ist
their
es
hands under the water,
dann waren wir
maybe
schon
splash their faces with a handful of it. Aber trinken, haben Sie das bekommen?
ganz wenig. Morgens ein bisschen, das war zu wenig.
Anna tells me that they could drink a little water in the morning and in the evening. It was far from being sufficient.
Das war wirklich eine Katastrophe.
Anna explains that the food couldn't even be called food anymore. It was mud, boiled potato
Zu
peels.
meiner Zeit ausgekochte Kartoffelschalen kriegten wir oftmals.
They chewed and chewed on them. She asked, what else could you possibly do with them?
Ausgekaut werden. Die haben wir ausgekaut.
And they didn't get any
Was
other
soll man sonst
food.
damit machen? Sonst
She says it was horrific.
Und das war wirklich schrecklich. Ja, eines Tages war Selektion und dann musste man am Arzt vorbeigehen.
One day it was selection. They had to go past the doctor, half naked. The doctor selected those unfit for work.
Ausgewählt, wer arbeitsfähig ist und wer nicht.
Anna says that she had an infection on her legs.
Bein durch das Ungeziefer.
She had scratched and scratched and scratched herself because of the vermin. So the doctor pulled her out of the line.
Kam ich auf Block 25 in der
Anna
Block.
remembers
Das war
that
der
she was put in block
Todesblock für Frauen, die
25,
schon im Lager waren.
which was a
Also
death
keine
block for women who had already been in the
Und
camp.
der war übervoll und wir wussten genau, nächsten Tag ist Vergasung.
It was crowded to overflowing, and Anna says that she knew that it was gasification on the next day.
Sonst bei einem bestimmten Signal.
They were not allowed to the latrine anymore, and they didn't get food anymore, so they wouldn't soil the ground. The light was on all the time, whereas usually it had been switched off after a certain signal. Anna knew it was gasification on the next day.
Manchmal ging das Tor auf und da wurden Leichen da reingeworfen von umliegenden Blocks.
Sometimes dead bodies from other blocks were thrown in. Anna says that they were going to be burned with the ones of those still alive.
Alles. Und dann auf einmal ging das Tor auf und draußen fuhr ein Wagen vor. Und dann ging das Schlagen los.
Then suddenly the gate opened and a car drove up. The hitting started and the women were pushed outside. No one wanted to go outside. The women screamed and cried, they clawed to the ground.
Ich konnte nicht mehr.
Deeply in thoughts, Anna remembers that moment. She couldn't bear it any longer. She fell to the ground. People stepped on her hands, stepped on her.
Und dann, ja.
And then she just had one wish. She wanted to see the sun again, just once.
Ich habe gesessen und habe gebetet.
So she sat there and prayed. She wanted to live.
Und ich habe immer wieder
Anna says she was deeply absorbed in her prayer and stopped noticing the hassle around her.
Und auf einmal höre ich meine Nummer rufen.
And suddenly she heard her registry number being called out. And when Anna looked up, she saw a man in a uniform commanding for her. Anna believes that there may have only been 50 people left in the block. She pushed through them to get to the man.
Der hatte eine Karteikarte unterm Arm und eine Karteikarte in der Hand.
He controlled the number tattooed on her forearm and said, "Man, you've got more luck than brains." That's when he pulled her out of the desk block.
Was das heißt.
Anna tells me that it was deadly silent in that room. But you could still hear the uproar, the screams, and the desperation from the desk block 25 of the extermination camp Auschwitz.